Alright folks, welcome back. This is Balatro once again every day. You want to get better at Balatro and I want to help. Or you just need help sleeping. Either way, I want to help. Today we're going to play on Gold Stake Yellow Deck and I'm going to give you the opportunity to play along. I'll put the seed in the video description. Maybe also a pinned comment. Anyway, here we go. Gold Stake Yellow Deck. Ignoring what we saw in the first round, if I've got a bunch of clubs here, let's go for the clubs flush. Since we are playing on the gold stake, we only have 2 discards. The clubs flush is not going to one-shot, but maybe that's okay. We can play the flush and then maybe follow up with a pair of jacks. Could be a pair of jacks, could be 2 pair. I think pair of jacks is enough on its own. Some marginal benefit for playing the pair there in case you find a supernova in the future. Then we have extra pairs being played. Okay, if we are playing on gold stake, you don't always open the first shot buffoon pack depending on what deck you're on. If we are on the yellow deck, then we have more money and so makes more sense to open the buffoon pack. Let's go ahead, take a look. Dagger as a rental. Early rentals, pretty rough, so blue joker here is great. Now we ask the question, do we also need to open the second buffoon pack? Do we want to open the second buffoon pack? If you didn't already know, the first buffoon pack on any run is always guaranteed. First shop always has a buffoon pack. Second buffoon pack maybe is somewhat rare, maybe like 15-10%. I forgot what it is, but it's less than a quarter of the time you get another buffoon pack. I think some considerations, okay, we want to try to pick up some source of plus molt. Plus chips is okay, but plus molt is stronger early, and I think maybe that's a good reason to open the buffoon pack here. Definitely with blue joker here, we have plenty to one-shot this round, so big blind here, not only can we win, but we can easily one-shot the boss here with the -1 hand size. A little bit harder for us to get those one-shot hands, those 5-card hands. Maybe we want to have something a little bit stronger going into this particular boss. Here we've got a bunch of sources of chips. I'm going to take square. Square joker gets more and more chips when we play more and more hands. It's a gold stake all-star. Alright, so let's try to square up as much as possible. So we can go kings and nines. The next pair wins, so let's try not to play a pair. Let's go high card so we can square up. And I guess this wins. Great. Okay, 2 more rentals, probably we just save our money. Some consideration for these early Arcana packs. One thought being, okay, if I have $14 in the bank, I get $2 of interest. If I spend $4, I still get the same $2 of interest. But then I'm $4 further away from having $25, the full $25 in the bank. And so with the Arcana packs, usually we wait until there's at least $20. Maybe the full 25 before we open the Arcana packs. Same with the blank voucher here. We want to save our money for interest. Let's go next. Here we know that the pair is kind of in the realm of 300 points. I was supposed to play 4 cards, right? Oh well. So I can win with high card a couple times, 100 points each. And then finish with, let's go a pair here instead of the 3 of a kind. All right, if you're playing along at home, your square is going to be slightly bigger than mine. Zany joker. Yeah, maybe not as a rental. We have enough points for the small blind, and then maybe we don't need to make any purchases here. Go next. So once again, with the standard packs here, we're just going to save our money for interest. No consideration for taking the rare skip when we're playing on the gold stake. All right, so the strongest thing we could do is the 2 pair. 2 pair are not 100% necessary, so I guess it's important to point out that Pair and two pair give you the same amount of molt. You get a slight difference in chips, but we have a lot of chips from blue joker, we have a lot of chips from square joker, so pair and two pair kind of score the same amount since we have so many chips from our jokers. All right, we have a straight that we don't need to play. Some consideration here, the blue joker does get weaker every time we play a hand because we have fewer cards. If we go high card jack, that's going to be about 100, and then we can follow up with 3 aces. Definitely works. We should always check what the boss is. I didn't. Okay, this boss says spades. Sure. Okay, we've got trading card here, we've got a spectral pack, we've got zany jokers. So now we're in the position where if I want to win the next round, probably we need some source of molt. And zany joker could be the answer, maybe not. I probably take the trading card here as a value generator. Eternal value generator, fine. Let's go spectral pack first. Spectral packs, you can't pass them, gotta take them. Chance of getting seals, very powerful. Immolate is the best. Removing cards and then also getting money. So now I've got money to do this. Steel, jack, probably not going to be relevant for us, though maybe could give us a little bit of molt early on if we wanted to. I think if you have trading card, so if you're just playing high card pair, two pair, these lower ranking hands that don't have a lot of molt, even after you level them up a lot, then maybe steel cards don't matter very much. Maybe on gold stakes, steel cards don't usually matter that much. But if we have trading card, we know we have trading card, we're probably in the end going to be able to play 4 of a kind or something like that, maybe flush houses, in which case this gets better. Steel jack slightly better. The consideration for not taking it is every card that you add to your deck makes it less likely that you draw your value generators later. So later on I will get a gold card. Later on I will get gold seals, blue seals, purple seals, some kind of seals. And then the steel card that I take now makes my future gold card worse. I won't draw my future gold card as much, right? But maybe that's fine. Definitely if we have something like trading card in the shop, then makes it easier for us to draw our value generators later after removing cards from the deck. So we definitely take trading card. We might not take the paintbrush here. We can take it after the big blind. The only consideration is, do we take zany joker or do we re-roll? I think since we have the money, probably we should re-roll. Immolate that we got from the spectral pack makes zany joker a little bit better, because then I know I can probably get the 3 of a kind more easily. But if I'm using one of my discards for trading card, then that's a discard that I'm not using to find my 3 of a kind. I think I'm just going to go one more. This is not ideal, but maybe fine. Maybe Jupiter is the thing that we need. And then maybe we don't get to do square joker here. Maybe we have to just play 2 flushes. Sure, or I mean, we could gamble again. Let's take faceless joker. Is easy to do with pairs, difficult to do with flushes, because we have to hold 3 or 4 cards in hand to make flushes. So maybe faceless joker is not worth the money investment. Gets less bad if we have the paintbrush. I think if I have a source of plus molt, then faceless joker is great. Maybe I take faceless joker now, expecting to get plus molt in the near future. And then faceless joker is great. I'm gonna say no for now on faceless joker. Especially if we're using it, one of our discards for trading card, I guess. So I don't have to do this right now. I can play a hand first and then remove a card. Maybe. Removing a 4 is fine. Generally, I want to remove the cards that are not face cards. We don't have to play all flushes. So let's play the pair since we have the pair. And then there's that steel card coming in. Okay, so this gives me information that I don't actually need to play a flush. As long as I play pairs plus steel should be fine. If I can draw my pairs. Maybe. No pair here. We can play the flush. We could play the 2 pair. I guess pair here works. And then we play another pair. There we go. I'm choosing to play the pair instead of the 3 of a kind for potential supernova value. Alright. Priestess. Maybe. Crazy Joker. Maybe. I guess we got about 400 points there for a pair. Now slightly more because Square Joker is slightly bigger. I guess whether or not we take Crazy Joker depends on what happens with the Priestess. Let's go Priestess first. Maybe with these upstairs, I can open the Mega Celestial pack. So one thing to do is you could just take Crazy Joker here and just play a straight. If I spend a lot of money, a lot of extra money on this Mega Celestial pack, maybe I get a Mercury card and then I don't need Crazy Joker. And so like that kind of saves me money. I don't have to buy Crazy Joker. Let's go, let's level up the flush. Since we already have 1 level, let's go 1 more level. And then let's also level up pairs. Pairs is the hand that I actually want to play. I think the hand size from the paintbrush is worth taking here. We go down pretty low on money here, which means it's going to cost us a lot of interest, compounding interest also, but maybe that's fine. This rental, you get $3 from the trading card, so it pays for itself. So maybe we sell something here, go to 15 and go next. The Mars card I'm going to hold on to. Long term, it could be we level up the 4 of a kind. Maybe that's good for us. Short term, holding on to the Mars card means there's going to be less Mars cards in the shop. Okay, so actually a little bit of a wrinkle here. We were able to get the 500 points on the pair, but that was using the steel card. Maybe if the steel card is debuffed, then we can't do that. So I guess let's start here with the pair, and then we can always play 1 flush later. Yeah, it looks like we probably need 1 flush later. Because we have that extra hand size, we should be able to get it. I can play the pair of 9s. And then use the trading card. So we know this doesn't win. We have plenty of chips. The thing that we're missing is molt, and my flush is going to have more molt. I can snap off a 6 here. Basically, I'm just removing whatever the lowest card is every time. You could be slightly more optimal than that, but maybe we don't need to be more optimal than that. Okay, we should pay attention. The flush was 1,700 points there. So now when I'm looking at the next round, I can think about, okay, I have to play the flush twice in order to win, or now my pairs are maybe like 500 points, and then with the steel card, maybe 700 points, maybe something like that. This boss here, clubs debuff, that's not a problem. There's a red card. Okay, so now we've got the combo basically, right? We've got scaling chips, we've got scaling molt, no problem. Typically the advice that I give with the red card is pretend that the red card's not there. Only open booster packs you would already open. And so like this celestial pack here, normally I wouldn't take these booster packs if I have less than $25, and so maybe we don't open the booster packs. And if you do open the booster packs, sometimes they have stuff that you want, like maybe you make a gold card, maybe you make some lucky cards. Don't skip unless you would already skip, is the advice. But we are in a situation where we do need molt, and so if I need molt, maybe one way to do that is take overstock, gives me a free reroll here, and then I can look for some plus mult that way, or I can also get some plus mult from the red card itself. So we go Arcana first, in case we get a Hermit, which would give us money. Okay, so no Hermit here. Usually what I would do is I would take Emperor. So Moon or Sun here if you want to try to play more flushes. On the gold stake, usually we play pairs instead because of this -1 discard. Partially it's this, makes it more difficult for you to get, you know, even just flushes, but then also because we are playing on the gold stake, we have access to fewer resources. We have access to less money. So we're not going to be able to build a nice clean deck that has 40 hearts in it or whatever it is. So usually what I would do is I would go Emperor here, but because I need the mult, I think we take the mult here on the red card. And that should be enough. So our pair already 500 points, now doubled 1,000 points. I can win the next round, no stress. I don't need this Celestial pack. Maybe we sell the Mars card, once again going up on interest. Go next. No consideration for taking the stencil there. We're pretty loaded on jokers already. All right, we can play this pair. There's that 1,000 points that I promised you. Trust. It does get slightly smaller over time with the blue joker here. We can, with the trading card, snap off the 2, play high card, which we know doesn't win, and then follow up with a pair of 4s. Doesn't matter which, 4s or 5s. Cool. Okay, and then the next round, 4,800 points. That's going to be 4 pairs, the full gamut. You could take credit card here and then open both of these booster packs. I think so. Once again here, if I didn't have the red card, I probably, well, if I had some other plus mult, if I knew I had enough points, don't take the Arcana packs here. But because I know that I need more points, probably open 1 Arcana pack at least. If I'm going to open the Arcana pack, I can take the credit card here just in case there's Temperance. I get plus an extra $1 of Temperance value. Fool for Mercury. So I'm choosing between Mercury or red card. Mercury gives you, okay, plus 15 chips and plus 1 mult. So 15 times as many chips as you get mult. We have plenty of chips from the Square Joker, and long term we will get plenty more chips from the Square Joker. Also, it's eternal, so we won't be able to sell it. We won't be able to get rid of it. Whereas with the red card here, maybe gives us the mult that the Mercury card doesn't. Mercury cards don't give you a lot of mult, and so maybe we need the mult from the red card instead of the pair level here. Assuming that our jokers don't change, assuming that we have all of the same jokers going into the very end, it's better to skip here to get the plus mult on the red card. But if I do get the Mercury card, then that gives me opportunities to use glass cards and steel cards in the future, and then maybe replace the red card. So in the short term, plus mult on the red card better. Long term, plus mult on the red card also better, but there is a possibility that we get rid of the red card. Mercury here is fine. Now, given that, do we need this Arcana pack? The answer is no. We just go next. And then we have plenty of mult on the red card. All right, and my pair with 4 mult is better than basically everything except for the flush. Which we can still play in an emergency. So let's start with the 10s, throwing away a 3, and then we can keep the pair of 3s in hand. And then now we're up to 1,500 points. Okay. So it does get slightly weaker. Like I said, every time we play a hand, but maybe not significantly weaker. So expecting here maybe 1,500 points, right? So this should be under. We don't have to worry about scoring too many points. We could think a little bit more seriously about the trading card, about what cards we're removing and what cards we have left. It probably doesn't matter. So I'll just do that. Play the pair. Alright, so the worst pair is at the end of the round when we have fewer cards in deck. So the worst pair that we have is about 1,400 points. Going into the boss here, we want to have slightly more than that. Okay. Spectral packs, you have to look. I maybe forgot to sell the credit card. Maybe we could have sold the credit card for an extra $1. Here, Wraith could get a rare for 15 bucks. So one consideration is the rare won't be eternal, it won't be a rental, it won't be perishable. I think in the short term, skip here is better. Sometimes I'll take things like Grim. If I am playing pairs, random enhanced cards can be useful. Value generators, gold cards, lucky cards. Maybe I want another steel card. I'm going to skip. I think the short term plus mult here is going to be better than, you know, whatever kind of long term prospects from taking Grim. And then with that, probably we're good as far as being able to hit 1,600 points for this boss. We don't need the standard pack. We could consider Overstock here. Overstock is very powerful, but maybe if I already have red card and I already have Square Joker, I don't really need Overstock, and I don't know if it's worth going that far down on interest. And like I said, you know, compounding interest potentially. If I take Overstock here, I can see more offerings in the shop, but I might not be able to buy more stuff from the shop. So I'm really seriously considering just go next. All right. I can play 4s and 3s. I'll play the jacks. Not expecting it to matter too much. Okay, so we're up to 2,000 points there. So the one Mercury card we saw was not that big of a jump, but then the extra 3 mult from the red card, that's like 50% more mult, so 50% more points. Okay, we can play a pair of 4s. And then the final hand should be at least 2,000. So now if we want, we can snap off a 6. We can play I card. And then finish with a pair. Cool. And then now we're in the range of about 2,000 points for a pair. Okay, Chad as a perishable. Short term, just another source of chips. Long term would be very powerful, but it's perishable, so we don't have a long term option. Could take an Arcana pack here. There is a skip for an investment tag. Investment tag is this money. I think we don't need that. I think we're stabilizing on money. I think I do need slightly more points though. So I want to open one of these. And if I open one of these, how about the Arcana pack? All right, so Hermit is the thing that we want. Okay, boss has decreased level of poker hand. That's kind of rude. Especially if we're playing pairs, but since we do have Square Joker and red card, we do have the opportunity to not play pairs if we want to not play pairs. We can get rid of the credit card. Do we sell Blue Joker? Probably we still keep it. If I sell it now, I get 2 extra bucks. Let's take the money. So here again with the red card, don't skip unless you would already skip. Don't open booster packs unless you would already open booster packs. Celestial pack. Alright, so Plutonium I'm not going to take. This is an easy skip. And now, do I want the extra discard? Doesn't matter yet. So let's just save our money and go next. We could reroll there, but we have nothing that we need to reroll for. We can snap off the 2 here. I feel pretty confident in Square Joker here. Hair is 3,000 points, so let's play high card instead. High card is 2,000 points, so this pair won't win and the next pair will. Okay. Our pair level, by the way, is only level 3. That's only 2 planet cards, and so we could decide to not play pairs at any time. But you know that's not going to happen. All right, we could hit the road. If it wasn't a rental, I think you could seriously consider it, but because it's a rental, then we don't take it very seriously. All right, we're now at the money where, you know, if you have $5 of interest, then that's enough money, plus the whatever blind reward money is. You have enough where you can basically buy both booster packs every time, or maybe most of the time. So let's go Arcana pack first. Pool for Hermit is easy. Let's see. I'm gonna go Celestial pack. That way we can go Mercury instead of skipping. Makes us weaker against this boss where we probably are forced to play high card instead of pairs. But makes us stronger long term, like I said. Maybe. I think Mystic Summit is something that we don't need right now, but maybe could be worthwhile. Once again, giving me an option, I can beat the boss without playing pairs. What's nice about the Mystic Summit is if you want to grow the Square Joker, you can turn it off by not using your discards, and then when you are ready to score, then you can turn it on. Wasteful Voucher, if we're being... Probably we want to wait until after the big blind. I'm going to take it now, knowing that I'm not going to reroll here. Let's go next. All right. We can snap off the 2. We could play a pair of 3s. And we don't want Mystic Summit here. Okay, so the pair is 36. I can play a pair of 9s, throwing away an ace and an 8. Okay, 36 doesn't win. But then the next one does. That's it. Honestly, very chill gold stake run so far. 3 of the strongest sort of gold stake jokers. Could take a free reroll here. Some consideration for getting rid of the blue joker here. So after we draw all of our cards, and you know, after we play a few cards, maybe discard a few cards, blue joker is about 50 chips. Square joker already 150, so this is like 30% more. So I think if we sell it, we still score plenty, and then maybe it makes sense to take another value generator here. I could use strength to turn 10s into jacks. I kind of like that idea. So let's go there. I like to, if I'm going to reroll at all, I like to wait on the Arcana pack in case I get some tarot cards I can use inside the Arcana pack. Here, 2 Eternals. Easy, we don't do those. All right, $9 or 3 Molt. $9 is better because with the $9 I can open the Arcana pack. I could strength now. I could wait on strength. Save it for 2 10s instead of 1 10 and 1 9. Probably I want to make more jacks since I have Steel Jack. I guess I can wait. Can I wait? I'm impatient. All right, so now I have money for the Mega Celestial pack. We can take Mercury and skip. Take one, skip one for the red card. And we do have money. We could do a little re-rolling here. I'm going to save the money for the next shop. The next shop will have a new voucher. Let's go next. And here the plan is we want to activate the Mystic Summit. We want to play high card or 2 pair or, you know, anything that's other than pairs. We can snap off a 4 and then just discard basically everything. I'm looking for my 10s, ideally. Let's start squaring up here. Maybe I discarded too much too early because now I'm not going to be able to square up the full amount. Maybe it's not important that we square up the full amount. Let's throw away this jack and then try to draw 10. Okay, 2 10s. And play the 4 of a kind, which we don't have leveled up. High card here we know wins. Fine. Alright, what I don't have a super great handle on is how much my pair scores anymore. It's been a while since we played a pair. Can't do Habsies, easy Mercury here. Sure. This boss, play 5 cards. That's a bummer. Skip for $40. At this point, we are scaling up where we don't need to do that. Okay. Before we re-roll, we go overstock. So if you took an earlier overstock, then this overstock will be something else. I don't know. Could be hit the road. With the extra discard voucher, hit the road is unironically useful. I'm kind of into it. I'm kind of into this idea. I guess it is $8, which is kind of expensive. I would have to get rid of Mystic Summit. Let's go Spectral Pack. We're always going to open the Spectral Pack. I could get a Blue Seal. Okay, so I think with the Blue Seal, we can see we already did the clubs boss. Why don't we do Blue Seal clubs on a jack? And the reason why we're going to put it on a jack, even though this, you know, hit the road, you have some incentive to discard jacks. If we put it on the jack, then if I get a death card, I can copy this jack. We could do better than hit the road, possibly. Either we just hit the reroll here, or I go hit the road. I don't think selling Mystic Summit is safe. So I'm just gonna go here. Now we're pretty locked in. All right. So starters, we snap off the 3. We can discard from jacks. I can go ahead and play a pair of 5s. Now that we have the Blue Seal, the chips from the Square Joker don't matter as much, so I'm not going to work as hard for the Square Joker. Just a heads up. Okay, so looks like we are okay on pairs. So if I want, I could try to square up by playing high card. That's another thing that's like kind of nice about Hit the Road is you can kind of turn it on and off when you need to. If I need to square up more. Alright, so now we can discard. And we can play a pair. Didn't need a discard there, I guess. Cool. And then that was like 20,000 for the pair on the final hand. So I guess turns out we didn't need this Mystic Summit that bad. Oh well. Okay. Now knowing that I don't need this Mystic... I guess whether or not you need the Mystic Summit depends on your Hit the Road, whether or not you get the ×2 from having the early jacks. Do I want this cola? I guess we're not taking the economy tag anymore. I guess we could if we have the cola. I think I'd rather not skip. I think the value that we get from seeing another shop and having Square Joker and having red card and having Blue Seal and trading card, I think I get too much value that it's not worth skipping even for 60 bucks. Maybe here Emperor. Not great. So lovers we can sell, I guess. Maybe we didn't need to sell right away. Faceless Joker, since we have an extra discard, could be good. I'm not 100% sure if I'm supposed to sell the Mystic Summit yet. In which case, I think I just go next. Alright, so we could snap off a 5. We could play a really weak pair. I do need to make the 9 into a 10 now because we're out of 10s. I can discard these jacks. And I can decide whether or not to use Mystic Summit. And I think the answer is not yet. So play the pair of kings, no Mystic Summit. Mystic Summit will be about maybe 80% more molt. So yeah, why don't we discard, well, nah, we're good here. Pair of eights. Alright, I can discard a bunch of jacks. I can play the pair of aces. I can play high card ace, which doesn't win. Ideally, this doesn't win. And then we can discard all the jacks. And alright, there's the pair. I guess another option, if I wanted to, I could go for the 4 of a kind and then level up with the blue seal on the 4 of a kind. Pairs should be okay. Alright, so Arcana pack here. Now we only have $24, but that's fine. Arcana pack. I could use Death to get another jack. Is probably better than the raw +3 molt that we get on the red card. So maybe a 3 becomes another jack. Do I want a standard pack? I do, but I don't think it's worth losing the money. Let's go next. Alright, we can snap off a 4. We can decide to discard a bunch of jacks. And then discard or go ahead and play the pair. I think I'm just going to discard so that we have the molt from the Mystic Summit. If we want, we could also put Hit the Road on the left. And then we score fewer points if we need to score fewer points. If we want to try to square up, but we can't square up because it's the Psychic, let's go ahead and play pair of kings. Right. Okay. Justice could be Justice on a jack. This boss is going to debuff my hearts. Yeah, I'll take a glass card. I'll take an Arcana pack. So Temperance gives me 11 bucks here. Sure. Now we have money for a standard pack. Steel 6. Once again here, Steel's cards are going to be good once we level up the pairs, and then maybe you don't need the red card. So am I skipping here just for a steel card? Usually I say no, but maybe since we have the extra hand size voucher, maybe the answer is yes. Actually, since I have the trading card, sure. Go next. Alright, I can snap off this 6. I can discard these jacks. Alright, we want to try to find the blue seal. Let's start by squaring up with the queens. Alright, so we already have a win if we play all these pairs. Okay. I don't need this jack. Okay. I could discard these jacks though. No blue seal, and that's sad but ultimately fine. ×3 on Hit the Road. There you go. I guess an incentive to go for pairs instead of the 4 of a kind is Hit the Road is better with pairs than with 4 of a kind. Alright, so we got a Showman here, we got Spectral Pack. Spectral Pack first, I guess. There's A fancy jack. If we lose the blue seal, that's pretty sad. I guess if I have square joker, I don't need the blue seal that bad. Is the blue seal important enough that we don't immolate here? Maybe in ante 6. There's not that much time left on the blue seal. I'm not going to get that many more planet cards. Let's go ahead and light them up. Alright, I could reroll. So now that we have more money before we open the Arcana pack, we could reroll here. Could be Mystic Summit. We don't need the Showman. Let's go. We don't need the Swashbuckler. Go one more. There's a Mercury card. Maybe I wasn't supposed to reroll that many times. Let's see here. The last card we used was Temperance for 11 bucks. So take the Mercury card, open the Arcana pack. Alright, we could take 11 bucks, we could remove 2 cards, we can make one more jack. I think I would rather remove 2 cards. I think I have enough jacks, I think I don't need another steel card. Let's just remove 2. So let's do it this way, let's go Mercury first, 5 and 3, we can hang them. Then go next. Okay, snap off the 2, discard a bunch of jacks. Alright, how about a king? I'm gonna throw away the steel cards. I think the steel cards are gonna be more points than we need. Right, okay, so we have a win. We can play these jacks. We can play these queens and then finish with the jacks, no problem. Actually, I'm going to put Hit the Road here. I'm going to play High card, which I know doesn't win on purpose. And then we can play a pair of 8s. I'm going to make the blue seal into glass. And then that way, if we do get a death card, maybe I can try to copy it. Let's go ahead. Play that pair. Great. All right, square joker now, 228, red card 12. Incredible. Great. Let's go between standard packs and buffoon packs. Probably you prefer a buffoon pack, so let's go there. I could take Jimbo for a +4. Could take Shoot the Moon for 13 mult. Is just better than Mystic Summit and is better with the steel cards. So maybe now we've admitted that red card is not the move. So we take Shoot the Moon here. We got 3 queens. Just not a lot of queens. Standard pack. I'm not gonna take it here since we have another voucher showing up in the next shop. All right, queen's debuffed, fine. We can discard some jacks. We can play this ace here. So with a ×2 here, we're also gonna get Shoot the Moon and a steel card. Let's test. All right, so that's 40,000. Okay. Yeah, maybe once again, we don't need to square up fully if we don't want to. I can play maybe something like this as a high card without winning. And then I can play the kings. There you go, ×4 on the final one. Here's a pair of kings. There you go. We've reached the point where we don't have to use trading card anymore, I guess. We just discard the jacks, right? Okay, there's a photograph. Perishable, not gonna last very long, but maybe it'll last long enough. The boss has no repeat hand types, so maybe now is the time to use the photograph against the boss here. Sure. So Arcana first, I guess. Emperor. Strength. Okay, more jacks. Let's... If we are going to get rid of something, probably we get rid of the red card to take the photograph. The reason why I mention it is because I'm trying to figure out if I want to use the wheel here. Cool. Alright. I can remove 2 more cards. I can make some lucky cards. Probably we want to make lucky queens and kings. I want to use strength on 1 more. I don't have any 10. I have a 9 and an 8. Did I accidentally remove a 10? I think I might have. So I guess 9 and 8 we can strengthen. Maybe I'm supposed to turn the queens into kings so it's easier for me to get my pairs. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe ace and 8 here we can hang. And go next. Alright, so snap off a 4. I want to try to get that blue seal. Okay. I don't need all of these queens. I did get the blue seal. I can make some lucky kings, I guess. And we're up. Cool. So we can beat the boss with the steel cards. The Mercury card here we maybe don't use right away. So the last card we used was the Magician. Okay, so Mercury here is fine. There's a red card. There's a Mega Buffoon pack. So I mostly just want to be conservative with my money. And so maybe it makes sense. Shoot the Moon stays or goes? I guess stays. Alright. So let's go next. Okay, I don't need the aces. I can discard all of these jacks. Alright, I have a pair of queens, I have a pair of kings. I don't need the steel card. I can play... We can start with high card as a throwaway, and then we know that we have enough pairs to win. Alright, and then we can play the pair of kings. And then we get the blue seal value. Sorry, once again, I gotta check the Fool was Mercury, so we can Mercury here again. Alright. This photograph is not actually that strong, since our base mult is not that high. Let's go Arcana. I can remove 2 more cards. So we could remove 1 more ace, 1 more 8. That makes it easier for us to set up our hand against the boss. I'll take any jack. Maybe another queen is reasonable because we can pair it for the photograph. Maybe we don't take blank here. Maybe I'm willing to reroll 1 more time. And then go next. Alright, no repeats. So we should be fine here because of how many chips we get from the square joker, even if we don't play a high card. Or sorry, even if we don't play a pair, we're fine. But if you want to see a pair, we can make a pair. I have enough queens in the deck. I could discard all the kings. Right. I only need 2 queens to win. Maybe let's go ahead and fire off the pair of queens. Something like that. I should maybe throw away this jack. I guess I'm not going to play another pair anyway, so maybe I'll do that. 2 steel cards, that'll work. That was unfortunate. We didn't discard as many jacks. We didn't get as much hit the road value there. Previously we had a ×4. This is only ×2. Holding on to the blue seal was a little bit greedy. So, I mean, there's lots of things that we could do here, but one kind of easy thing that we can do. The blue seal doesn't really matter anymore. I can discard it if I want. I can play high card here. So some mult from Shoot the Moon and then the rest from the steel cards. Yeah, I should have thought a little bit, paid more attention to Hit the Road. So in the previous round, paid attention to how big Hit the Road was and then tried to make it bigger here. But once again, demonstrating, you know, if you have the square joker, every hand kind of scores the same. It doesn't have to be a pair if we got that many chips. Plutonium here, I'll just hold on to. I don't need to use it. Tarot Merchant's good. Generally, we could try to get more glass cards, more steel cards. Boss forces a card to be selected. That's probably not something that I'm worried about. One thing that is on my mind is Photograph. If Photograph is perishable, let's go Buffoon pack. So here, a bunch of Eternals that we don't need. Could be Arrowhead. We just skip. Standard pack. Looking for any amount of jacks we can add, and then we can, you know, that's more cards that we can discard. Stone card doesn't matter anymore because we have Square Joker. Alright. Baseman. Could be Idol. Idol, not something that we usually see on the gold stake, but maybe. Maybe Idol is the thing that we can do. So Idol's currently on Jack of Clubs, which means I could do that. Idol plus Photograph. You get rid of Shoot the Moon here. Going into the boss here. I mean, that seems reasonable. One thing that I'm like slightly concerned about is we want to discard the jacks for Hit the Road, but then we want to have jacks left over for the Idol. Probably the Idol does more than Shoot the Moon does. Strength helps. I can turn one more 10 into one more jack. I can turn a pair of queens into a pair of kings. I could just keep strength for the boss round as like something to do in case of emergency. What kind of skip tags do we have? There's a holographic skip. There's a D6 tag. I think I'm just... Am I okay with Idol on clubs? I guess the 10 is clubs, so maybe that's fine. Maybe we just go to the boss here. Let's do it. How about that? I'm not entirely risk-free, I'll admit. Maybe knowing that, I should have re-rolled a little bit more. Whatever, it's fine. Alright, so queens we don't care about. What we want to do is I can strengthen 10 and queen here. Okay. Now I have the jacks for the Idol. So I think what I do is I start discarding jacks. Right. I could discard this jack. I have to discard the steel jack. That feels bad. I probably keep one jack in hand so that I can play a second pair, or maybe with the Idol I don't need a second pair. Alright, so there's a pair of jacks. That's it. Cool. And if we wanted to, we could could have beaten, what is it, the Violet Vessel with that same amount. Violet Vessel is 1.2 million. Anyway, that's it. So I don't know what we learned here. So kind of classic, I guess. Red card is, in my opinion, you know, very, very strong on the gold stakes. It's a high win rate card on the gold stakes. because kind of like Square Joker, it gives you molt that you can apply to any hand. Square Joker gives you chips that you can apply to any hand. We had a couple situations here where because we had so much chips on the Square Joker, we could kind of play not just pairs, but also high card or 2-pair in case where you have, let's say, the boss that says you can't repeat hand types. Maybe Square Joker gives you a protection against that kind of boss. Hit the road, not everyone's favorite. I get it. When you have a lot of one card, let's say you have a lot of jacks, often with Hit the Road, what you're trying to do is you're trying to play 4 of a kind, maybe 5 of a kind, maybe. And so if I have 10 jacks in my deck, if I discard half of them, then I might not find my 4 of a kind. I might not find my 5 of a kind. And so maybe I don't discard jacks. And then maybe my Hit the Road is only ×2 or something like that. But if if you're playing a lower ranking hand where maybe you don't need the jacks specifically, then it could be kind of okay. And I do mean kind of okay in this situation where we have not even too many jacks, right? We used 1 death card, maybe 2 death cards, maybe 2 strength cards or something like that. Ended up on 10 jacks. Extra jack, maybe we didn't get any jacks from standard packs except for, no, the blue seal was from a spectral pack. Anyway, it doesn't take too many jacks in order for Hit the Road to work. The thing that's tricky about Hit the Road is it doesn't do anything until after you discard, and we don't necessarily have a lot of discards, and so sometimes you'll play your hands saving your discards, but if you're playing your hands before you discard, then you're not getting any value from Hit the Road, and that can be a little bit scary. But then, yeah, once we draw all the jacks, then it's fine. Trading card here. I would say the all-stars of this run. Square Joker, for sure, but also trading card. Trading card as a rental, totally worth it. Here, we were able to find the jacks. Despite not having that many jacks, we were able to find them. We were able to discard them. We were able to, with not that many steel cards, draw the steel cards consistently. With not that many blue seals, draw the blue seal every round. Those sorts of things. And then also, in the final round here, we do want the glass card, need the glass card. We want, it's not very common that you're going to be using the idol, but obviously here, if you have some specific cards in your deck that you're trying to get, then of course, trading card helps with that. And it doesn't just have to be playing 4 of a kind necessarily. It could just be, there's some card that I want, and I want to have few cards in my deck so that I can find that one that I want. And so a little bit hesitation in the beginning with the steel card. We said, I'm not sure, do I want to take the steel card? But knowing that I have trading card, knowing that I can draw the steel card later when I need it, then I take the steel card. And the steel card ended up giving us that little bit of molt while we were waiting for the red card to show up. Anyway, that's it for today. Take care, everyone.